you're not hungry, like at all. And part of you thinks, great, this is working. And then the voice in the back of your head starts to wonder, am I eating enough? Am I losing fat? Am I losing muscle? And what am I even supposed to eat when food is not even on my mind? If that's you, stay with me. Because today I'm walking you through exactly what to eat on a GLP-1 as someone who's on it and who guides women through this every single day. The content in this video is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. I am a nurse practitioner sharing my own health journey. I am not your nurse practitioner. My experience is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always consult your own licensed healthcare provider before making any change to your medications, your diet, or your health plan. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I'm Fallon, a nurse practitioner navigating perimenopause, post-VSG regain, and a GLP-1 journey using Mounjaro. Now, before we get into it, I want to say something important. The fact that you're asking this question puts you ahead of most women on this medication. Because here's the truth, a lot of women on a GLP-1 are eating 700, maybe 800 calories a day, not feeling hungry and thinking that's fine. And in the short term, the scale moves and it does feel like it's working. But what's actually underneath, what's happening underneath, is muscle loss, nutrient deficiency, a metabolism that's slowing down in ways that will make this so much harder to maintain long term. So what I'm sharing today isn't about eating more for the sake of it. It's about eating smarter. So the weight you lose is actually fat, not the muscle you desperately need as a midlife woman. You're going to hear me mention my GLP-1 protein playbook a couple of times through this video. It's a resource I specifically created for women on this medication who want to take everything I'm about to teach you and actually put it into practice. The link is in the description if you want to grab it. But for now, let's get into it. GLP-1 medications work by slowing gastric emptying and mimicking the hormones that signal fullness in the brain, okay? Which is exactly why the food noise goes quiet. You eat a few bites and then you feel done. And that is genuinely helpful for women who have spent decades overeating, emotional eating, or just never feeling full. This signal is life-changing. And as someone who has been overweight their entire life, this was life-changing for me. But here's the problem. Just because you're not hungry doesn't mean your body doesn't need fuel, nutrients, vitamins, protein. Your muscles still need protein to stay intact. Your hormones still need fat to function, especially in perimenopause and menopause. Your brain needs glucose, carbs. Your gut needs fiber. The medication suppresses your appetite. It does not change your nutritional needs. So the shift I want you to make is this. Stop eating by hunger alone. You can't rely on that because the medication is going to dim that. And start eating with intention. On a GLP-1, hunger is no longer a reliable signal. You have to become the one steering the ship. If there is one thing that I could get every woman over 40 on a GLP-1 to do, it is this. Prioritize protein at every single meal. Not as an afterthought, the first thing. Now here's why this matters, especially for us specifically over 40. After 40, we naturally start losing muscle mass. Remember, we talk about it all the time on the channel about estrogen declining, especially during perimenopause and menopause. And this is called sarcopenia. It speeds up in perimenopause and menopause because estrogen plays a role in muscle preservation. Add a GLP-1 to the mix and it's significantly less. And you have the perfect storm for muscle loss if you're not intentional about protein. So how much of protein do you actually need? A good general target for midlife women on a GLP-1 is around 100 grams of protein per day. I know that sounds like a lot when you're not really hungry, but let me show you how this actually looks in real life food. For example, 3 eggs in the morning. Let's look at a breakfast. So 3 eggs in the morning, that's 18 grams of protein. Greek yogurt is about 15 to 17 grams of protein. 4 ounces of chicken or 4 ounces of fish or turkey at lunch is about 30 grams. and then a protein shake to kind of help in between and supplement. We want to use those as supplements. Could be 25 to 30 grams of protein. 4 ounces of salmon at dinner is another 25 to 30 grams. So if you look at that whole meal plan for the day of eating, you have gotten in 100 grams. And it's not a massive amount of food, especially when you spread it out across the day. The key rule that I taught myself and that I now teach clients is that protein comes first on your plate. And it comes first in your meal, before the vegetables, before the grains or carbs, before anything else. Because on a GLP-1, you may only get a few bites in before you start to feel full, and you have to make those bites count. This is a lesson that I had to train myself to do and taught myself to do. And I saw the results. In my in-body scan with my provider, after a few months of being on the medication, I had not lost any muscle. I gained muscle and only lost fat. And right now, I am 15 pounds down. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, but I need this mapped out for me in like real actual meals, actual grocery lists, and actual protein targets, that's exactly what my GLP-1 protein playbook does. It takes everything I'm teaching you today and hands you the full roadmap so there's no guessing. There's a link in the description. Okay, this is what I call the clinical corner, and this is where I put my clinical hat on, and we look at the research and what the research actually says. Because I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want you to understand the science behind why protein is non-negotiable for you, specifically. So the current standard protein recommendation is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. This was established decades ago and largely based on research done on young men. It was never designed with midlife women in mind, and the research has moved well beyond this. Okay? Current evidence suggests that women over 40 need significantly more, closer to 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day, particularly when they are in a calorie deficit, which on a GLP-1 you most certainly always are. Now, here's why the number matters so much. When you're eating less, your body looks for fuel elsewhere. And without adequate protein coming in, it will break down your own muscle tissue to get it. This is called muscle protein breakdown, and it accelerates with age and with calorie restriction. Now, in 2020 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that higher protein intake during weight loss was directly associated with greater preservation of lean muscle mass in older adults. And for midlife women specifically, where estrogen decline already compromises muscle synthesis, the protein buffer becomes more critical. Okay, so what does this mean for someone on the GLP-1? The appetite suppression from the medication creates a situation where muscle protein breakdown outpaces protein synthesis, or muscle protein synthesis, meaning your body is breaking down more muscle than it's building. The way you counteract that is consistently providing enough dietary protein to shift back that balance into your favor. This is also why spreading your protein across the day matters clinically, not just practically, because research shows that protein muscle synthesis is optimized when protein is distributed evenly across meals rather than consumed mostly in one sitting. So that evening chicken breast alone won't cut it. You need meals. Every meal needs to contribute to your protein intake and goal for the day. Now, I know that was a lot of science, but I think you deserve to understand the why behind what I'm asking you to do. This isn't about a number on the scale. It's about protecting the body you're going to live in for the next 30 or 40 years. As a clinician, that is what keeps me up at night when I see women on a GLP-1 not hitting their protein goals. All right, now that we've covered the science, let's talk about the best foods overall for women on a GLP-1. And I break these down into 3 categories. It's what I did for myself to move forward with a plan that could work for me. My first category is high protein, easy to digest foods. Now, this is because GLP-1 slow gastric emptying, right? So heavy or fatty foods can sit really uncomfortably in your belly, and the best protein sources are ones that are lean and relatively easy on your digestive system, especially in the beginning. So we're talking about eggs, egg whites, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, fish like tilapia or shrimp, chicken breast, turkey. These things digest well and they're versatile. They're easy to eat in small amounts. The second category is soft, nutrient-dense vegetables. So raw vegetables and very high fiber foods can sometimes take a lot to process, especially when you're on a GLP-1, especially when you're first starting out. So cooked vegetables go down a little bit easier. So we're talking like roasted zucchini, steamed broccoli, sauteed spinach, soft sweet potato. All of these things, you're still getting your micronutrients, you're still getting your fiber, and you're getting anti-inflammatory benefits, but just in a form that your belly can handle right now. Now we go to the third category, and that is healthy fats in small amounts. Fat is essential. We've talked about this, especially for hormone production in midlife. All of our hormones function on fat, so we need healthy fats in our body. But because fat slows digestion even farther because it does make you feel fuller longer, you want to keep portions small and choose quality sources. Avocado, which is also great for fiber. Olive oil. Small handful of nuts. Now, you know how I love my Japanese peanuts during the day. So things like that, walnuts. A little goes a long way on the GLP-1. Okay? Now, what should you avoid or limit during this time, especially when you're first getting started? Greasy, fried foods, fatty foods. They make side effects significantly worse on a GLP-1, like nausea, if you have reflux, that heavy, uncomfortable feeling. Like ultra-processed foods and refined carbs also tend to spike and crash your energy in a way that works against the medication. And alcohol. This one deserves its own video, and we've talked about this in a rapid-fire question before. But know that it hits differently on a GLP-1. And for most midlife women, it becomes something they naturally use a lot less of. So now let's talk structure. Because knowing what to eat is one thing, but actually getting it in when you have zero appetite and getting meals planned is a whole nother beast. Okay? So here's the approach I use with my clients and what I do for myself. Stop thinking about 3 big meals a day and start thinking about 2 to 3 small protein-anchored meals with no pressure. When your appetite is suppressed, trying to force yourself through a full plate 3 times a day often backfires. You feel sick, you give up, you end up eating almost nothing, you end up relying on protein shakes, which are only supposed to be for supplemental use, and instead you want to build small intentional meals around protein and let the rest follow. So a simple day for me looks like this. Morning, 2 or 3 scrambled eggs with spinach. Sometimes for me, it's 2 boiled eggs, okay? Greek yogurt with a scoop of protein powder mixed in, which ups your protein, right? Maybe a half a piece of toast if you want it. That's it. Small protein first, done. That's it. For lunch or midday, let's just say it's a midday, consider that lunch because we don't have to have these like specific meal times. 4 ounces of chicken or fish with some roasted vegetables or a side of quinoa. I personally like quinoa, some people don't. If you can't face a full meal, a protein shake with some fruit blended in it absolutely counts. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. I know you've probably heard that before. In the afternoon, here's where a lot of my clients struggle because we're not hungry, but they haven't hit their protein goals yet. So a small snack like cottage cheese with fruit, or string cheese, hard-boiled egg, or a handful of edamame can bridge the gap without overwhelming you. And then in the evening, another small protein-anchored meal like salmon, ground turkey, shrimp, some kind of vegetable, or a little side salad. Keep it simple. The other thing I want to say about meal timing, don't skip breakfast and call it intermittent fasting just because you're not hungry in the morning. For midlife women, especially those dealing with cortisol issues, skipping breakfast and going into a big calorie deficit early in the morning can work against your hormones and your muscle preservation. Eat something in the morning, even if it's small. Yogurt, a boiled egg, a string cheese. Everything I just walked you through, the meal structure, the protein targets, the snack ideas, the grocery list. It is all inside of my GLP-1 protein playbook. I built it specifically for midlife women on this medication who are tired of guessing, who just want someone to hand them a plan. If that's you, the link is in the description below. This is the resource I created for myself because I wish I had it when I started. It was what I felt like I was missing to be successful on this journey. And although I am 10 weeks into the journey, it has been life-changing. I have preserved my muscle and continue to do so, and have helped so many other women because I'm not only a provider, but I'm also a patient living this journey with you. I want to close with something that goes a little bit deeper than meal planning. A lot of women I work with have spent years, decades, in a restrict and binge cycle. Food was either the enemy or comfort. And now on the GLP-1, food barely registers at all. And while that can feel like freedom, it can also create a new problem, completely disconnecting from nourishment altogether. Eating well on the GLP-1 isn't restriction. This is not a diet. This is an act of respect for your body that is working incredibly hard to change. It's saying, I see you. I'm going to fuel you. I'm going to protect your muscle, your hormones, and your energy because you deserve to feel good in this new body that you're building. That's the shift. From eating less as the goal to eating well as the practice. And when you combine the right nutrition with the emotional work we talked about last week, that's when this becomes something that lasts. Okay, so let's recap what we covered today. Protein comes first, every single meal. Aim for around 100 grams per day. The research backs this up. Midlife women in a calorie deficit need significantly more protein than the standard guidelines suggest. Choose easy to digest lean proteins, cooked vegetables, and small amounts of healthy fat. Build 2 or 3 small intentional meals instead of forcing 3 big ones. And stop eating by hunger alone. On a GLP-1, you have to be intentional. Even structure your meal times. Set an alarm on your phone. If you want all of this handed to you all in one place, the meal structure, the protein targets, the grocery list, the snack ideas, my GLP-1 protein playbook has everything you need to stop guessing and start fueling your body the right way on this medication. The link is in the description. Now, if this video was helpful, save it. You'll want to come back to it and revisit this and drop in the comments what's your biggest challenge with eating on a GLP-1. Is it the appetite suppression, hitting your protein goals, knowing what to cook? Tell me and I'll make sure to address that in upcoming videos. Tell me what you need. If you're new here, I'm a clinician and a GLP-1 guide. I'm on this journey right alongside you, and every week I post videos to help midlife women navigate this medication with their health, their hormones, and their whole selves in mind. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. I'll see you next week. Thanks for being here.